Hi there, this is Anita with Workflow Grow, bringing you your weekly installment of Express Desk Stretch. Today, our focus is called pain in the butt, because the reality is we develop a lot of musculoskeletal issues from the obsessive sitting that we do all day. So by leaning over, we end up contracting the front of our bodies and we stretch out the backs of our bodies. And it's not really in a good way, because the longer you do that, your muscle memory starts to kick in and it starts to hold your body in that position. And that leads to compression in your vertebrae, and which ultimately leads to lower back pain and hip pain, therefore pain in the butt. So our stretches, we'll do some strengthening and stretching exercises. What you want to do is stretch out the front of your body and strengthen the back of your body to help counteract, help snap you back into alignment. And doing these exercises once a day can really help to minimize some of that pain that you deal with. So let's start, as we always do, with a little bit of breath work just for a moment. Today we're going to inhale for the count of 4 and exhale. This is candle breathing, like you're blowing out a candle, for 8. So purse your lips together and blow out for 8. So let's start with 4. Inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 8. Blow it like you're blowing out a candle. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 8. Now feel free to close your eyes. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 8. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. And if you've been doing this for any amount of time, you know we always start very similarly with some sun salutation A's. So just come with your feet standing together. You see I'm in my work clothes, don't even have to change clothes or anything. And reach up, reach your arms up over your head, take your gaze up, maybe even a little slight back bend. Take a big inhale in and forward fold like you're swan diving down. Exhale. Halfway lift, create a nice flat back, reach the crown of your head forward, forward fold, exhale, and come all the way back up to standing. Let's do that 2 more times. This just really helps to wake up the body from all that sitting. Forward fold, exhale, connect to your breath, halfway lift, inhale, draw your thoracic spine in, forward fold, exhale, and come all the way up, extended mountain. 1 more time, forward fold, halfway lift, forward fold, and come all the way up to extended mountain. All right, so starting with our first stretch, this is what's called a cliffhanger. So you can do this right on your desk. So they call it cliffhanger because you can see my fingers are right hanging on the edge of my desk. I have my feet are arm's length away, shoulder width apart, and you drop your head in between your shoulders and just let it hang heavy. Let the gravity do its work here. You should feel nice opening along the front of your body into your lower back, even a little bit behind your legs and your hamstrings. So just hang here for a moment. You can wiggle around a little bit, get whatever opening you need. And now come up and take and come into a plank pose. So your arms are right now straight and you're leaning forward towards your desk. So it looks like a big plank of wood. And press yourself into a standing upward facing dog. So you press your hips forward. You should feel opening in the front of your hips when you do this. And take a slight back bend, take your gaze up to the ceiling. So that's some really good opening in your front body. So let's do this with a little bit of flow. So forward, come to your cliffhanger, exhale, and flow into your upward facing dog. Inhale, press your hips forward, exhale, cliffhanger, And upward facing dog, crown of your head lifted, hips forward. One more time, cliffhanger. And upward facing dog. All right. Now you at any time can stop this recording and do that as slow as you want or as many times as you want. All right, here is another pose to create more opening along the front of your body and strengthening in the back of your body. Okay, so this is a crescent lunge. Just step your right foot forward. So both feet are facing in the same direction, and bend your front knee. I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see what I'm doing here. So work your front knee towards 90 degrees. If it's at 45 degrees or whatever is fine. The goal is to work it towards 90 degrees. Come up high on the ball of your back foot. You see my heels coming out of my shoe. And so your front knee is bent, your back leg, your back knee is straight. Press your back of your knee up towards the ceiling. So this is a crescent lunge. I'm going to turn back to the front. So both your hips are facing the front. Lift your arms up. Now lift the front of your pelvis as your tailbone descends down. That creates a little bit of a C cup. You'll feel more opening in your hip flexor here, which sits all day contracted, and you're wanting to open it up so that it doesn't get stuck that way. If you reach your arms up and take a slight back bend, that helps with the opening even a little bit more. It's also strengthening your legs and your back body from doing this motion. All right, so you can stay right here, or for some opening in your lower back, you can bring your left hand down to the floor and reach your right hand up towards the ceiling and sink your hips a little bit lower. That creates a little more opening. If you can't get your hand down to the floor, use your chair. So I've got my desk chair here, and bring your forearm or your hand down to the chair and twist open. So that makes it a little bit more accessible. So use your breath as you inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Inhale, lengthen. Twist a little more, your heart more up to the ceiling. And come back to center. Feel free to hold on to the chair if you want. You can have one arm up or both arms up. And move yourself back to standing. All right, I'll move my chair over here just to demonstrate. We're going to do the other side. So now step your left foot forward into a crescent lunge. So both feet are facing 12 o'clock. Your front knee is bent towards 90 degrees, whatever amount of bend. Your back leg is straight. Turning to the side just so you can see again. You go. All right, so see, that's the crescent lunge right there. And you're looking forward. So hold on for a few breaths here as you inhale. Reach your hands up higher. As you exhale, sink your hip down a little bit lower. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sink a little lower. All right, same thing here. Now bring your right hand down to the floor or down to a chair. Reach your left hand up towards the ceiling and twist open. This is stretching out your lower back. This is stretching out your hip flexor. And this is strengthening your back and strengthening your core. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist deeper. And come back to crescent lunge. And come back to standing. Great. All right. So you can here use your chair again for this next exercise. So now we're going to work on a little bit more opening. And this is called hip flexion and extension. So flexion is when you are bringing it in together. And extension is when you're separating it. So flexion, lift your knee up. And extension, extend your leg behind you. This is strengthening your back body here and your hips that need to get strengthened from being stretched out from sitting all day. So let's pick up the speed a little bit with flexion, extension, flexion, extension. You can do this holding onto a chair. For a little extra effort, you can take your arms out to the side. So let me turn to face you. So flexion, extension. Just use your gaze to look at one spot that will help you keep your balance. And 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. And switch sides. So still can hold on to a chair if you want, or work your balance. So start slow, flexion, extension, flexion, extension, pick up the pace, flex, extend, flex, extend. 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. All right, so that helps with some strengthening as well as some opening. A couple more options to show you here. This is a seated pigeon pose, or a figure 4. All right, so just start, come a little bit to the edge of your chair, cross your right ankle over your left, and you should already feel some opening in your hip from doing this. You can also, to add a little bit of intensity, is bringing your forearm down on your knee and lean forward, and that helps with the opening a little bit more. And you want to keep your lifted foot flexed. That will help protect your knee and connect to your breath. It's always in, that's why we start with breathing, is to get grounded in your breath, because that is just as important as all the stretches that we do. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, deepen your stretch. 3 more breaths. And switch sides. Cross your right or left ankle over your right knee. You can stay right here. Use the leverage of your hand to press your knee open a little bit. You should feel that in your piriformis and really deep inside your hip, as well as a little bit in your lower back. And you can deepen that by leaning forward, putting a little bit more weight on your knee, and fold a little bit forward. Again, connect to your breath. Try to deepen your fold just a little bit with each exhale. 3 more breaths. All right. Last stretch. There's so many we can do, and I can only fit so many in a 15-minute time period. But this is a goddess pose. You can do this seated. So I'm sitting in my chair, or you can come out of your chair. So your toes are turned out to the side. Your knees are out to the side. Bring your hands down on your knee. Drop your right shoulder towards your left knee. And use the leverage, pushing into your right knee with your right hand, to drop your left shoulder further, and you'll feel some good opening in your inner hip and your lower back. And come back to center, switch sides. And back to center. And we will close just how we always begin, with a little bit of breath. So 1 big inhale for 4. Exhale for 8. All right. So like I said, feel free to stop this video at any time, replay it multiple times, share it with other people that you hear complaining or walking around the office like this when they get up out of the chair. And you can bring relief to yourself as well as your colleagues. So thank you. I'll see you next time with Express Desk Stretch.